must be their spaceship. Think of the money the government will pay for it.
Dolph, maybe the other little person that Dal saw is inside that ship.
Well, hello there, beautiful people. Welcome to part 8. 5 and 3 equals 8. Really? I didn't know that.
5 and 3 are 8. Anyone knows that.
Welcome to part 8 of our beautiful spindrift that we are doing today. This evening is paint day. What we're going to do is, well, first I'm just kind of blowing this thing off. So as you can see, I've kind of, I painted the inside just a little bit. Not too fancy, not crazy, you know, just enough to kind of give it some nice evenness. You ain't got to do it, it ain't got to be done, but, you know, I like to do it just to kind of make it look a little more even. So I'm getting all the dirt off of it, if there's anything. Okay, so how many of y'all have ever seen a spindrift painted in your entire life? Have you ever seen a spindrift painted in your entire life?
But I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to give you some good footage of how I do it. It'll be several coats. That feels good. So far, she's looking good. I'll know better when I get the second coat on there. By the way, I already kind of painted a little bit, but I'm going to paint it over again. What I did was use square rods. Yeah, square rods. It's a square rod, and I just kind of carefully, the best I could, made that design. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of, has something to do with the door. I guess like a lock, kind of a lock sockets kind of things, you know, that kind of locks the airlock in place. But I put that in there and did that, and that made it look so much better. I wasn't going to do it, but I just thought, you know, we're going to go for broke on this. Okay, looking good. Looking really good, y'all. I'm getting really pleased with this. Alrighty, a quick look at everything. I think we've got everything painted up. I think it's all painted up now. I think we did pretty decently on the seams. I'm not really seeing any real bad issues as far as crevices for seams, so I think we did pretty good on that. And if you remember those, a little area that I had to patch up, I don't even, let's see which side, I think it was this side. I don't even see, yeah, I think we patched that up real good. But what we got some issues with orange peeling. You can see this one. Yeah, see those see that orange peel right there. I seem to always get orange peel when I paint. I'm not sure why. I know some of you geniuses out there can just really paint it with one swipe and make it look like glass. Of course, I don't want this to look like glass, but a quick story. I know I painted this 2 weeks ago along with this top piece. Even a couple of weeks even before that, I had went ahead and painted this top part, and it looked good. I had sanded everything down. Everything looked really good, looked really decent. It looked ready pretty much to me. And so I did the wet sanding and put my color on, and that's where it showed up. Of course, I had some orange peel that I wet sanded off to make it nice and smooth, but what I was getting was low spots. This thing was 3D printed, so pretty much naturally I think it would have imperfections in it, and I couldn't see it in the primer, I couldn't feel it, but when I put the color coat on here, I could see it. I had a bad low spot here, a terrible one here, and I had one here. And I think that was about all the worst of the low spots that I had. And a shout out to Johnny over at Special Effects Model Works. He saw the little issue I was having, and he suggested that I use a guide coat to solve those low spot issues. So what I had to go and do, I had to sand all this orange layer off. I had to sand the whole color off, back down to bare primer, or not, well, back down to primer. And that took a couple of days. That was a pretty big job. But I got it done. I applied the guide coat, and sure enough, I could see my low spots. And so that really helped. That little technique really helped me. And of course, I did it on this one as well. So special shout out to Johnny over at Special Effects Model Works. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you helping me with that, because I think if I did this thing right, I don't really see any low spots that's really that concerning to be that concerned about. The big ones that I didn't like, and I think it's pretty much addressed. I think it's pretty much fixed. So I think we're pretty good as far as that goes. And he also gave me some advice on the striping as well. So we'll be getting to all this part, the exterior mostly, on the next episode. So, but right now, let's get to the interior parts and work on those some and see if we can get some of that working. But once again, Johnny, I just can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. And if I did it like I was supposed to, I think we came up with good results. Anyways, it looks good enough to me. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, y'all, there was something that was bothering me real bad about this piece, especially when we put all this together, and that is those blocks right there. That's not accurate to what was in the show. Here is, so what they are, they're squares, and their buttons is what they are. So what I'm looking at is what I'm going to do. I was trying to figure out, and I definitely wasn't about to try to recreate tiny square boxes like these. Of course, those aren't good enough square. I didn't cut those good. I don't like those. They're real tiny, like tiny little buttons. And so what I decided to do, I couldn't figure out what to do. So what I decided to do was use this PETG. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it to about the same size, best that I can, of the blocks. I'm going to sand them down, make them frosty. And then I'm going to paint black lines in them to make them look like buttons. I think that'll work just fine. So, make myself feel better. Let's get that done and make this thing look more accurate, okay? yes, I am so much more happy with that. Those look so much better to me than those little funky button things that I had on there before. Oh boy, that was funny. But I'm very much a lot more pleased now. Okay, the original buttons, which I found out later, had only 2 rows of buttons. This got 3. It'll work. It'll work. So, looks good. And also, the toggle switches look nice. I think they'll do for what I'm wanting them for. Yeah, I think they'll do nicely. So, and also I put this border right here. I did not care for that little console I put there. I didn't care for that, so I kind of recreated it and redid something different. It's a little extra long. I did that for, I will cut that off some more when I get it in between the 2 walls. I don't want any gaps if I can help it. I may have some, but I just kind of want to make sure. So those little access sticking out will be cut at the appointed time. Alrighty, my sister Alexis has went and made a couple more outfits for me. As you remember, she already did the Captain Steve's outfits, and so she went and did Dan's shirt or a jacket and pants, and also Miss Betty's dress, which is the stewardess. And by the way, Dan is the co-pilot. They have details on their uniforms. These two, Dan has, well, they both have shoulder pads, you know, kind of like military rank insignia, kind of like the captain has 2 stripes on his shoulder pads. Dan has 1 on his. Of course, he's the captain, so I guess he would have more than Dan. And they also have badges, a yellow one on top and then a name tag on the bottom, same with him. Betty, she has a type of shoulder pads. It's kind of not as noticeable as the captain or co-captain, but she does have some kind of, I'm not going to worry about that, but I will put her badges and name tag on there for her as well. And also notice the detail that I did on the accordion doors, sort of like, I guess, somewhat what you could call what the original looked like, somewhat. I mean, the best that we could do, but Alexis did a really good job doing those accordion doors. I'm really pleased with that. What I'm going to do with the shoulder pads is I'm going to use this plastic strip, really thin. I'm going to have to round it off on the tips to make it work, because they're rounded here. They kind of narrow to not a point, but around to a round going up towards this way. So I don't know if you can see that or not. So I want to try and recreate that by rounding these off. So let's get started doing that. Alrighty, y'all, I've got this done. Y'all check it out. Now, this thing's got some mistakes on it. And these mistakes will always remind me of this particular, of how to do this technique differently next time. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you've seen it, is right here. The good thing about that is it's going to be mostly covered. That happened, and you can see this jagged stuff. Just show you real quick. See, all that's going to be covered. So that jagged and stuff, all that stretching, I had to stretch this thing out. You can see it stretch. This stuff stretches. It's a good thing. But this contact cement, this contact spray cement adhesive, what I did was, before I laid this felt on here, I sprayed cement all over the surface. Before I put this felt on here, I sprayed it all over this surface here, and then I sprayed the stuff on the felt on the underside as well, all over it. Bad mistake. That was a bad mistake on my end. That was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. What happened was I had no idea how sticky this stuff gets, and this felt gets on there, and I'm gonna just tell you that it bites it, and yeah, it's not real easy to get it off. It scared me for a little while, but anyways, I plastered it on there and thinking I'd be able to kind of move it. Yeah, not good. Kind of a nightmare. I was able to kind of pull it up. That's why you see stretch marks in a few places, but it's all going to be covered, so that's good. So what I came up with, the best method that I came up with is, and I started over here. You see how much cleaner this is. No, this is. I started out with a little spray on this end, placed my felt here, let it get seated in real good, flipped the felt up, sprayed the surface here, laid it down, and the same thing till I made my way all the way to the end, and I made it so much cleaner. As you can see, this versus especially this is the most cleanest. That's what you call experience, y'all. That's what you call experience, and I learned. But it's going to work. Like I said, it's going to work. This is going to be nice, covered up, and ain't going to be seen, but it's still funny. So, I want to thank you, Johnny, from Special Effects Model Works, for your recommendation on this 3M90 to put this felt down. I really appreciate it. It works, man. It works. Let me get some of the interior stuff put in. We're going to dry fit everything and see what it looks like, just for fun. Now also note that it looks like I cut it short. The carpet. I didn't do the carpet. It's not carpet. It's what do you call it? Felt. It's not carpet. It's felt, but it does look like carpet. Anyways, that felt that I cut right there, and it looks like it's off. It's not off. This thing is. I'm having a little trouble because I think these things are a bit longer, causing this to go forward just a little bit more than it should. All I need to do is just, I know what to do, I think, and that'll kind of bring these back just a little bit, and then I'll be able to bring this back, and then this will go. It's kind of complicated, but you get what I'm saying. That's why you see gaps right there, so that's nothing to worry about. Alrighty folks, I wanted to take a break and show y'all what just came in. This right here is the game body spindrift, the 1/32 scale spindrift, which is this one not put together. There's a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot to this thing. But so that's it. That's it. This is for my one of my clients, Jim. What we are doing is just we're just kind of just overviewing everything. So this is all your clear parts. Very cool. More clear parts. There's your grids and stuff like that. This is bottom, middle. Of course, this is your top shell here. Interior, stand, part of the stand right there. Exterior, bottom. This one has both. How about that? This one has both of the what do you call those things? The window frames. On my other one, if you remember watching, I think it was part 7. I think it's part 7, somewhere on there. No, I think it was part 6. I'm sorry. I told you that one of these was missing, and so I broke both of them off because one of them was missing, and then the other one was just attached only on one side. And so I just went ahead and broke that off so I can make them both match because, yeah, one of those little pieces is missing. But this is not going to be missing. This is going to be completely good to go. So that's good. I'm thankful for that. And then you got all these little interior parts. This is really cool, y'all. This is really something. I encourage y'all to get one if you're interested in stuff like this. These pieces right here, I used to wonder, what in the world is these? And you get tons and tons of them. They are pegs. Like right here, you have holes here, and holes here, and holes here. Down here. Have it like right there. There's one. Those are pegs, y'all. Those are crazy pegs. Isn't that crazy? So I wanted to show that to y'all. It's a lot of stuff, y'all. There's a lot of stuff, but boy, is it fun to watch this thing come together. All right, doing a little bit of a test looking. I've got all my wires hooked up temporarily, and I've got everything pretty much put in temporarily. And so let's turn this thing on and see how this works. This is all running on this battery right here. So let's check it out. That right there, that's nothing. I got to get this thing to fit right, so that's no big deal. You know what? I think I'm liking that. I'm liking that pretty good. The lighting is interesting. And it's definitely lighting up the passenger areas. I think this. Okay, yeah, it kind of goes like that, I guess. Which is pretty interesting. There's your little galley area. Oh, y'all, I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of liking the vibes a little bit. So for a room having to house about a 3.5-inch figure scale, I think we're doing pretty good. So 3.5, yeah, I think we're doing decent, y'all. I think we're doing good. A little update. I just kind of closing this up a little bit, getting it closed off, and check out a little bit in there. And once again, these doors open if I can get them to open. I won't be able to open them once this thing's in the ship, but just knowing that they do, it's good enough for me. See, the shelving is in there. And let me turn the water on for you. No, just kidding. I'm not going to turn the water on for you. I was just kidding. Alrighty, what we're going to do on this segment, we're going to do something really cool, y'all. I want this thing to be absolutely as real as possible, as if I was inside the ship, able to operate everything itself. So what we're going to do is divide the illumination lighting, which is illumination is that top light up there. That's the type of illumination. These lights right here, those are illumination. and little headlights and lights that I'm going to be putting, panel lighting that I'm going to be putting in here and in the hallway, also in the cockpit. The lighting that's just going to brighten everything up, not console lighting, but illumination. I am going to divide those up. I'm going to divide it in 6. So I've got these slide switches right here. I'm going to put this one about right there, and I'll be able to reach in here with my finger through that door, and I'll be able to slide that on and off. I'll get it as close as I can probably to this though. And then the same thing, I'll use this, I will put a slide switch probably on this piece right here in this area. And then I will put a slide switch here, probably on this one. And I'll put a slide switch here, and then a slide switch here. So this part will power illumination for this room. And then probably if I put a switch here, I'll probably put a switch on the other side, but whatever. If I put a switch here, that will power illumination for in here. And of course, it's a no-brainer that if I put a switch here, it's going to power illumination for this room. So I will be able to control illumination wherever, because there are some places in episodes, like on the Creed, where this room, the illumination was off, and it looked really cool because they were in this room, they were talking about Barry's appendicitis, and it was really cool. And then this red was pretty much all that was lighting in there, and it just kind of light up their face.
Let's face it, it's acute. And the only remedy for acute appendicitis is immediate surgery.
We can't operate. We don't know how.
Well, if his appendix isn't removed, Barry will die.
There's not much alternative.
Go off. I think it was on purpose, just kind of have that dramatic effect during the dramatic kind of really serious scene, which was just really phenomenal for the producers or whoever who did that anyways. And then if you understand what I'm saying, I'm just going to kind of break up each illumination. Even this closet's going to be broken up, and I'm going to have separate illumination for it. So I'll need to make a separate little plastic piece, maybe right there, so that it'll be able to hold my slide switch. That is a lot of routing, a lot of thinking. So it's not going to get done just sitting here, so we might as well just get to it, all right? Alrighty, so the first thing I think I need to do before I start doing any kind of installing on these switches is put the wires on them. So what we are going to do, we're not going to worry about, you've got 3 ends here. One end we're going to eliminate, and any one end, any one of these we can eliminate. But we got to have we got to have either these 2 or these 2. So what we're doing, just to kind of show you an example, your black wire from your LEDs always goes to your black source. What makes the switch different is your red from your LEDs, your red wire, hooks to this end, somewhat like that. Let me get that tail. Sort of like that. And then this one I think we'll put in the middle if I'm not mistaken, and let's see if these lights will work. Okay, that must be off. On, there we go. So see, so if this is off, this is the switch in off position. There's no power, or there's no lights coming on. Flip it on, bingo. Black goes straight to your power source, but red is what's goes from here to the switch and either bypasses the power or causes the power to go through. So I think I'm just going to put some wires on this thing, about maybe that long on each one, and that way when it goes through here, I'll be able to connect it, and won't have to connect my source to this. It will just kind of have an extension, kind of like using an extension cord. I'm going to try and use this one, this big old welder. If it doesn't work, I'll have to get my little needle type out, but we'll see if this works. It may work. I don't know about the middle one, but we'll see. Sort of like that. All right. That is one switch done, ready to go. I will need to do 11 more. Alrighty, I've got the switches. I got them all put together the way they need to be. I've got 3 longer ones, and what those are for is going to be to put the switches to go through here inside the ship, in between the 2 layers, to go under there and to come out through the bottom. So that is what the longer ones are for. But what I'm going to start with is something kind of easy, sort of easy. And I think I'm going to start with the galley / restroom area. And I'm going to probably put my first switch somewhere right here. So let's see, what would be maybe about right there, which would be the height for a figure. Let's just say about right there. So I'm going to cut some of this tape off. So I'll do it somewhat like that. I think that'll look pretty decent for what we need. And I should be able to reach my hand in there and my finger in there and get that out and turn that light switch on off. Plus, it kind of looks like a light switch. Looks good. Let's do the next one. Using 5-minute epoxy JB Weld 2-part. I know that the original controllers were hatch controllers, push buttons to make them go closed and open, but on these are going to be my individual room lighting controllers. And this is going to be my own build. You know, this is my build, so I'm doing it to my own specifications and liking the way I would like it. And the thing that makes me kind of excited is they are going to be functional, you know. I mean, you can't have functional sliding open doors, or, you know, I ain't got the skills or the knowledge to do that at this point. So, but I do have the knowledge to be able to make them switches for lighting, so that's good enough for me. They look really good. They look like they're some kind of functional switch of some kind, which is good. So, hey, I think we got a winner. Alrighty, so quickly check out my hall closet. As you remember, we put a nice little switch right there. And I got all my connections hooked up. That's just kind of temporary. I'm going to have to extend that red wire out quite a bit more. But it gives you an idea of what I'm doing. And so I also installed a ceiling up there. So let me just turn this on. So say somebody needs to get in here and get a piece of cloth or something. They just flip this switch and they get in there and get what they need. So this is going to be completely separate. So the only way this is going to be turned on is through this switch right here. So I'm making this thing as realistic as possible, being, you know, it's a big ship. So, and then to turn it back off, I'll just flip the switch again. Bingo! I turn it off and close the curtains and bingo, bingo, bingo. Can't do it with one hand. I can't do it with one hand. Anyway, you get the idea. Alrighty, so I don't know if you're thinking, Landon, what are you doing? I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. What we are going to do. Okay, this is going to be, we have put these switches into all the little places, so as I have my my illumination lighting all divided up between the rooms to where you'll be able to actually turn them off with switches as if it was a real switch in a real room. We got to have a master switch, and the master switch, y'all, is going to be in the cockpit. These switches, like say I've got this one, this is going to be for all illumination. All illumination is going to go through here and in turn go into my main battery source. I'll be able to put a piece of plastic and mount these on there and then glue the plastic plate right there. And so, because that's just, there's no way you can really finagle and get good perfect cuts. You might could, I don't know, but I'm going to do a plate. I'm going to do a plate for it, for goodness sakes, and just do it that way, and I think we'll be okay. But yeah, I think it's going to work. So both sides are going to have console. They're going to have switches that will turn stuff on and off. Okay, I added my switches. I actually added 2 more. I forgot that I had to have switches for the intakes. You remember from Tenna Controls, I have the toggle switch that flips it from red to green. We'd call that charge and recharge, I reckon. I'm going to put that toggle switch right there. And one of these is going to power the on and off switch to actually turn the battery on. So when I toggle it up and down, you know what I'm saying, it'd be the actual on and off switch. So, and then here you seeing how I'm doing these. This is going to be really good. I think I've got to scratch off. I got to scratch off that stuff, that paint there, but you can kind of see what we're doing here. Alrighty, y'all. It is finally time. I've been waiting for this a long time to do this, but it is time to put this telephone on right there. I've got some epoxy mixed right here, some 2-part epoxy with JB Welds, 5 minutes. So I'm just going to pop this on real quick. Let me get this here. This is about as perfect as I can get these consoles at the point that I'm at right now. It's not really easy when you have to create stuff, you know. It's a whole lot easier when you follow a kit instructions. This, there's really no instructions. I've got to figure some things out on myself, and that's a little bit more challenging. got everything hooked up, so let me turn these things on and just kind of show you. It's simple. It's simple lighting. Extremely simple. So, but there we go. It looks a little brighter on camera. It's a little bit better off camera. But I think I'm just going to kind of leave everything pretty much the way it is. I don't think I'm going to color any buttons or lights or anything. I'm just probably just going to pretty much leave it simple, as that is reality. I mean, you know, in reality, I don't think you'd have a bunch of flashing buttons and stuff. It's just cool to look at, but I'm not going to go too crazy. So say Steve is out in the giant world. He's exploring to see what's out there, and he kind of feels something is stalking him out there. And so he checks in with Dan to see if there is anything other than himself out there with him.
Dan, this is Steve. You read me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Any luck?
No sign of them yet. Look, set up a radar scan and see if you can pick up anything moving in this area.
Right.
And so Dan turns on his scanner, and voila, how about that? I also got one over here. So what they are, I just kind of did that at last minute, because I remember that part on that episode where Dan flipped some kind of switch. I don't know where it was, but I kind of like that effect. What I did was I used the flicker. I used two of them, two flicker LEDs. I think it's cool. Ice blue. I used ice blue. I also used ice blue color for these two for the flicker effect, and I used two of them. So it kind of gives that movement. I mean, it's almost impossible even with the technology we got nowadays. Well, maybe it ain't, but for me it is. With the technology that, you know, it's to make those moving lines like that. But I think it gives off an interesting little effect. And so if you don't want the scanner, just turn it off. That one too.
Steve, what's happening? Steve, do you read me? Are you all right?
Dan, I'm all right.
What's going on out there?
Giant spiders.
Hang on, Steve. I'm coming out.
That's okay. I'm clear of them now. Just sit tight. I'll check with you later.
Spiders. Giant spiders.
Alrighty, one more quick thing I want to show y'all before I let y'all go, and I promise you I'm gonna let you go. If you remember on, I think that was the interior reveal episode, which was a couple of episodes ago, we were showing this sound system from Starling Technologies, and I was showing you how it sounded. So you turn this on and turn this on. Okay, so that's how that goes, and you know, the sound ain't bad. It's kind of shrill. It's it's just those little speakers. But Stan told me that I can get speakers. Y'all don't think I'm nuts. He told me I get speakers for this thing to enhance the sound. So that's what I did, and I will show you what I did. Okay, so he directed me to a couple of speakers that would work. He gave me quite a few options, because he was familiar with his system, and I wanted to ask him what was compatible with the system that he used. So he recommended several different types of speakers, and so I finally chose these. And of course, like I said, I got them on Amazon. They're pretty loud. Let me just show you real quick what they sound like. It's you know, 2 speakers, so I guess in a way it's stereo. In a way. More on that in a little bit, though.
Alright, and they'll stay like that until I decide to turn them off, and I'll flip the switch, like...
Power off! Power off!
Okay, so that's that. So what was happening was, these speakers are in stereo, and Stan's system is in mono. So what I was dealing with was this plug right here. Let me get the original one. Yeah, you can see 2 rings on these plug jacks. That means stereo. When it's 1 ring like this, it means it's mono. When you got 3 rings, it means like a mic is connected to it, or a switch of some kind. Like you get 3 on earbuds. That if you ever get earbuds, and you've got a mic, you've usually got 3 rings. These things were stereo, as you can see. That's the cord that goes to these speakers. And I was plugging them in, and it was on here, and it was coming out only on 1 speaker. I think it was this one. And I was trying to figure out what's going on here. So I asked him if it was mono. He said it was. So what I decided to do was get an adapter, like here, which are 5mm mono adapter, and I plugged it into my stereo jack, like that. And so I plugged it in there, and boom, they come out on both sides, on both ends. It's just not stereo, but it's kind of complicated, but when you do it that way, it works on both speakers. It's really complicated. That is what happened, and so if you ever did get this system and you use 2 speakers that are in stereo, you'll have to get you a mono jack. Okay, to show you real quick what other stuff I am working on. First thing, this is Mr. Heldner's Spindrift that I have been working on. It is almost finished. I'm waiting for some C decals from Gary Stair to come in, so as I can put those on. I can get this thing clear coated. I could put those windows on there and put that little antenna on and clear coat this thing, and it should be done. But I'd give you a little quick look inside. This is a really, really cool ship. Pull that off right there. And you just kind of see I had to do a lot of tweaking to get this hull to fit right on there. Otherwise I had a really bad gap. Seems like no other way you do it or design it, you just got bad gaps. So flip that on. Yeah, the engines look hotspot. They're not hotspot. It's the way the camera's doing. They're quite a bit more balanced. Little engines there. Got some flickering effect, and then I got the Starling system here. And then I want to rev down. Exactly the same mechanism I'm putting on the big Spindrift, and then just to turn it off, I turn that off, and that keeps the battery from getting drained. What I had to do, I'll show you real quick. Sort of complicating. Put that right there. But originally, this stand looked like this. You could see this one's a lot flatter than this one is.
So what yeah, see, it's just kind of, it's flat. So what I had to do was I had to build this up, this bottom up, using plastic. I used a strip, or I think it was like .060 plastic. It's pretty thick. And I just kind of went around it and made a border so that I'd have a nice lip for my little mechanics in there. Ain't no way you could fit that junk in there. Under this, I mean, it's flat. It would kind of go lopsided. So that's what I had to do. And oh, my little, there's my battery there. There's the speaker, and of course I've got a little speaker hole right there I'm putting right there. So yeah, it took a little bit of work, but it worked. And also there's your plug for that. Hot glue air. So that's how I did that, and I had to drill that out, bore that out so I could put my switches underneath. Of course, I epoxied the stand in place. Something like this, I wouldn't dare not glue that. I'd definitely glue that stand on. Otherwise, you have yourself a terrible chance of this thing really crashing to the land of the Giants. And I use PETG. I just put PETG on the front viewport. And like I said, I'm waiting for the C decals to come in so as I can get those on, and then I will put the PETG behind here. And also what we are working on, but this will be done. This will probably be gone before the next episode, I imagine. So I'm going to turn that off. And the door opens and closes, by the way. It's tough. It's a little bit tough, but it opens and closes. Plus, I'm working on the other one for also a gym. What's kind of got me stopped at this point is the door. The guy sent half the door, which is good. He sent the other half. Everything is good. I mean, this thing's like, I don't know, close to maybe 200 pieces or so. I'm not really sure, but it'd be a lot to keep track of if you're if you're making these kits. It's a lot of pieces, I'll tell you that. So he had half the door, but he sent in the whole door. So that's why I've got that like that, because I will need the door on before I close that off. And I will say that it is a little bit tricky to get this on and to keep the door intact and not let it get glued in place by accident. So that's a little bit challenging, but we worked that out. And also, who else I'm working on for Busby is this Discovery XD1. It's a 1/144 scale. It's the big one. And he wants the full thing. This is the fruit pack. It sounds funny to me, but whatever. Fruit pack. This is the full-blown Discovery XD1 kit. I mean, you've got the EVA pods, you've got the cockpit and exterior, the hangar bay. So this is everything. Usually you've got several kits. This is all the kits in one. Very nice. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm kind of anxious to open it, see what everything looks like. And also what we're working on is Aries B. And this is for Anthony. This is Anthony's model he sent to me. I just got done assembling the cockpit. This is a replacement cockpit from Paragraphics. Nice little kit. I'm able to really do some interesting lighting on this. Look at that. Look at that backlighting panel. Isn't that cool? Here too. Look at that. Oh man, that's really cool. But it's really detailed. And he also sent me like the docking port, the accurate docking port, and the airlock door, the accurate airlock door, and also the backlight. He sent the whole kit caboodle to me to do. So this is a pretty big project, and I am so thankful and glad that he sent that to me. I'm really appreciative. I'm also waiting on the space pod to do for him, which is he wants that completely lighted, and the consoles and everything just full blown lighted, and so we're doing that for him. And I'm also working on this robot. This robot's almost done. It is almost done. And I'm also it just keeps going on. I'm also working on a 1/350 scale Discovery XD1, and I am in the process of doing those tiny little pod bays, and I'm using that same system. That's pretty much what I got done so far. So, but we're getting there slowly. Actually, I think this one's a bit more challenging to do than that big one. And I also want to thank all you guys for sending me your models, who I'm doing these models for. If you're watching, these are your models that I am building for you, and just thank you so much for sending them to me and letting me build them for you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alrighty, folks, I think I'm going to let you go. It's been a long episode, a lot of stuff that we got done. Got a lot of stuff done, but we're going to wait till the next one, the next update to get the Spindrift exterior nice and polished and smoothed out and get that orange peel out. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching me build this thing. Alright, beautiful people, please, until the next time I see you again, please stay safe, take care, and keep modeling, alright? See y'all soon. Take care.
Well, Mark, looks like there's just the two of us left now.
You know, there have been times since we crashed here, if I never saw any of you again, it'd be too soon. But now with the spaceship gone, well, there was always some hope before.
We're not doing any good here. Come on.